Thank you so much for being with us. This is author George Fleming. He's here with us today on Heritage Village's Author Talk to discuss Don Coyote, a Tampa Bay Tropics thriller published by the St. Petersburg Press. Hi, George. Thank you for being with us.
Hello, Monica. It's great to be here.
So, George, I'm just going to jump right into it. I think the question is, Don Coyote, a Tampa Bay Tropics thriller. Tell us a little bit about what is going on in this book.
Well, first of all, the title itself. I wanted to have a little play on the very famous novel Don Quixote. And in fact, the figure Don Coyote in the novel, in my novel, is a little bit like the old Don Coyote, except that he's really a very evil man. Now, the premise of the novel is that there are twin sisters who come up missing. They come from a very well-off South Tampa family, and they simply disappeared. And so the father and mother have engaged Tampa private investigator Ruth OHara to find their daughters. And it's been 10 days and there's been no word, if they've been kidnapped, no, there's not been a ransom demand. They just don't know where their twin daughters have disappeared to. Now, what's also interesting is that as Ruth OHara and her husband, Jake Dupre, set out to find the twins, they will learn that there is a powerful connection between Don Coyote, who has indeed abducted these twins, and Jake, because Don Coyote and Jake go way back. In fact, Jake Dupre, while he worked for the CIA, killed Don Coyote's mother. So this is a story not only of will the twins be safe, will they be found, but also will Don Coyote exact revenge upon Jake Dupre.
So it is a true tropics thriller. And so you say it's a Tampa Bay tropics thriller. Do you evoke Tampa Bay and recognizable scenery or locations that people could, kind of latch onto and go, oh, I know where that is? Or is it
yes.
more?
Yes, I try very much to add as much genuine local color as I can in Don Coyote and in my other novel, Bad Habits. I grew up here. I grew up on the barrier island of Clearwater Beach, and I love this place. I consider it a paradise, a tropical paradise. On the same token, I recognize as a novelist that Tampa Bay can be a very sunny place for very shady people, and so I thought that it's an ideal setting for my stories.
That is one of my favorite taglines right there, a sunny place for shady people. I think you hit the nail on the head.
Well, and Tampa Bay is fascinating. It has such a rich history. It has just a tremendous multiculturalism about it. There are folks from everywhere that have come to Tampa Bay. There's a lot that's very inviting about Tampa Bay. So it's going to attract not only the good people, but the bad people as well, which helps me very much in telling my stories.
Fantastic. Well, and speaking of that, there are probably in this area a lot of things for Miss Ruth OHara then to investigate, as she is an attorney and private investigator in the area. So tell us a little bit about who Ruth OHara is.
Well, it's simple. Ruth OHara actually is my wife, Linda Fleming. I started out with the Tampa Bay Tropics thriller series to create a kind of tribute to my wife, Linda. We have been married for 41 years. And I find that she's an extraordinary person. And I find that she's beautiful, she's brilliant, incredibly talented, has a big heart, and is a wee bit dangerous as well. So I thought that she would be the ideal person on which I would base Ruth OHara. And as a result, Ruth OHara emerges in Don Coyote as this very talented and determined and just very forthright woman who will not tolerate individuals who who break the law. I mean, she's an attorney, she's an officer of the court, and she's a licensed private investigator. And when she sets out to solve a mystery, she's going to do it. And she is especially interested in women who are, in trouble. And so when she was given the task of finding these twin sisters, she very much cottoned to that.
Well, this is, well, first and foremost, what a beautiful homage to your wife.
Thank you. Yeah, it's
I'm
interesting.
sure that she...
on because I based Ruth OHara on Linda is on the cover of all of my novels, and she will be. My plan is to write 20 novels in 20 years. And in each case, in Bad Habits and in Don Coyote, Linda is on the front cover of the novel.
That's a little bit of information that people reading the book might not readily know unless they're listening to this conversation right now, because if you look at the cover of Don Quixote, it's not apparent that it's a woman or a man. You can't really tell.
Right. And actually, that is Linda on horseback in the Sonoran Desert in Arizona, that's where Don Coyote begins in the prologue. And then on Bad Habits, even though I want to suggest that that's Linda or Ruth OHara fishing in Tampa Bay, between all of us here, that's actually Linda fishing on St. George Island.
Well, we can suspend disbelief for the good of the cover.
Very good, thank you.
So it sounds like Ruth OHara is quite tenacious. I have no doubt that your wife Linda is as tenacious in whatever she does, and her companion is Jake Dupre. So is Jake Dupre a little bit of you, or where does he come from, and what's going on with him?
Well, it's funny you would ask, Monica. I would say Jake Dupre is a fantasy of what I would like to be. Now, sure, there are some similarities, some physical similarities, and also the mindset as well. Jake is constantly being teased for being a bit of a talker, and particularly by Reed. But that's why Jake and Reed are attracted to each other, and that's why Linda and I are attracted to each other, because we're very different people. Now, I jazz it up a little bit with Jake Dupre. That is one of my nicknames, by the way, is Jake. but I have not ever been, you know, an assassin for the CIA. Um, I
That
do
we
not.
know of. You'd have to kill us if you told us
That's
anyway.
right. That's right. I do not play piano. I do not write my own piano compositions. Um, but you know, beyond that, yeah, you know, Jake's a good cook. Um, he's a fantastic lover, and um, you know, yeah. But come on, you know, as the writer, I get to kind of jazz it up any way I want, right?
Well, and that sounds like it's the fun of it. You know, and it's the old adage is that opposites attract, right? And it seems to, for your marriage, obviously you've been married as long as you have, and clearly you're very much still in love with Linda, and it works. And it sounds like that's the impetus for the relationship for Reed and Jake. And so, how does their kind of juxtaposition or their character differences play off of one another in trying to find these twins?
Well, that's a really, really good question because the what makes Reed and Jake so strong is that they're a very good team. They're both very professional, and at the same token, on the same token, Reed is the alpha in this relationship, and Jake has no problems with Reed being the leader, being the alpha. And so as a result, what they do is they combine their assets, their abilities, their talents. But Reed's in charge, and Jake has no problems with that. And so therefore, Reed is the one who orchestrates interviews and sending people out to try to locate the twins, to try to locate Don Coyote, and she's in charge. And I think that is what makes them such a strong team.
Yeah, I think, you know, I tell my husband all the time, it's like, if you just listen a little bit more, you will be happier.
Yeah, I
He's
know.
getting it eventually.
Give him time.
I have to give him more time. That's so true. But speaking of two of a kind, we have another set of characters in this book, and those are the twins. Those are the two people for which Reed and Jake are on this adventure and have turned up missing.
Yes. I've always been fascinated with twins. And in fact, Linda's two of Linda's very good friends. In fact, when I started dating Linda in 1976, I met her friends who were twin sisters, Jan and Jill, and I was absolutely mesmerized by the way that they seemed to communicate with each other without really saying anything. When one of them wasn't feeling well, the other one would know, and that while they were still their own individuals, they still were it was just fascinating how much they were also alike. It was at times kind of eerie. And so I thought that, and one day I was on board the Oasis of the Seas. Linda and I were on a cruise, and I was admiring their artwork. And I came across this photograph of twin sisters. And right then and there I'm very visually oriented as to where I get my story ideas. And I'm standing there looking at this amazing photograph of these twin sisters. And I said, that's it. That's what I'm going to write my novel about. So I just thought that it would be an absolutely fascinating element to put into my thriller.
It certainly does add a layer of mystery because we can't understand scientifically that bond between twin siblings, right? It seems to be something that is communicated time and time again between the pair, and there's just really no way of explaining what that is. So on top of it being a really great overarching narrative or thriller genre, you've got these characters in there that are seemingly somewhat mysterious.
Exactly. I hope so.
So tell me, George, how do the characters between these two novels intersect? And just before you answer that, I want to throw out there that Bad Habits was published by St. Petersburg Press in 2019, and then Don Quixote was published in by St. Petersburg Press in 2020, correct?
That's correct. Well, Bad Habits was the first novel in the Tampa Bay Tropics thriller series. And where Bad Habits and Don Coyote intersect is that many of the characters in Bad Habits return in Don Coyote. Obviously, Ruth OHara, Jake Dupre. I can't wait for you all to encounter one of my very favorite character creations in Ravel, this Swiss renegade who becomes a tremendous help with both Reed and Jake. And so there are other characters, Sierra and Shanoa, Andre, they show up in Don Coyote. But I want to emphasize something. You can read either novel as a standalone. So you could begin with Don Coyote and not have to have read Bad Habits. So, read these novels in any order that you wish, okay? But this is a series, and I try very hard to bring readers of Don Coyote up to date with these recurring characters so that you can read it as a standalone novel. But there will be references to Bad Habits at the same time.
I think that's really wonderful. It reminds me of the Choose Your Own Adventure books when I was a kid, in that you don't have to start, you can go down whatever path you want to, and it will still make sense at the end, and you can experience the characters in several different ways, which I think is really, I'm not a writer, so that sounds incredibly challenging to create. So my kudos to you for being able to write in that manner, because I think it certainly opens up a world of possibility for your readers.
Well, what I'm trying to do is, did you ever read Nancy Drew or the Hardy Boys?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you could pick any Hardy Boy or any Nancy Drew novel and whatever, and you could read it and enjoy it. And even though it's part of a series, you don't have to have read the other, 500 Nancy Drew novels to appreciate number 501, correct?
Right.
So that's really what I'm trying to do here.
And so you have a goal. This is just not writing random books once a year. You have a goal, right?
I absolutely have a goal, and I'm gonna achieve that goal. My goal is to write 20 novels in 20 years. And so I will have later this summer my third novel, which is titled Blood Harmony. That will come out this year. And so I will stay on track for one novel a year for 20 years. I want to be 84 years old and have published 20 novels, and then just go on a very long cruise.
Well, you'll certainly deserve it by that time. And it's such an ambitious project. I can't wait to interview you on Author Talk next year about the next book. So
Oh, that would be wonderful.
thank you so much, George. It's been a pleasure talking to you
Oh,
about
thank
Don
you.
Quixote. And if you want to find George's book, you can find it on Amazon.com. You'll have to search for Don Quixote, a Tampa Bay Tropics thriller. And I can't wait to read Bad Habits. I did not start with that one, and then I'm looking forward to the next one as well. So thank you so much, George.
Oh, thank you, Monica. What a pleasure this has been.
Mine too. Thank you.